Hello everyone, my name is Loco and welcome to a best of 5 series of top level StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is one of the quarterfinals for the ESL World Cup, a $700,000 tournament. Now, if you're a fan of Protoss, this is going to be the most Protoss-y series of them all. Playing right here with the red Protoss probes, we're looking inside of the main base of hero. Hero is known for his phenomenal Protoss gameplay, but also to play like a, you know, like a hero sometimes. His opponent in this particular match with the blue Zerg pieces, he goes by the name of Solar. Now, you can say many things about Solar. He's not necessarily the spiciest player in the world. He's not really super flashy with the way that he approaches the game. But he's very good at just playing normal, straight-up StarCraft. And because of that, I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily talk about him too much. But Solar has been ranked amongst the very best players in the world for years now. Hero, though, a very flashy player. I remember the beginning of this particular game, as I was one of the casters for the EWC this year, so I have already seen the majority of the matches. I haven't seen these particular games, though, in like, you know, actual depth just yet. But I just remember Hero going for some of the craziest builds that I have seen in a while. So he's decided to go for a high ground pylon. That alone is already really weird in this matchup. Usually, you don't go for a high ground pylon. You don't go double gateway. None of this really is the norm. Secondly, we now build our second pylon right outside of the main base here of Solar. Solar's gonna check the natural. He'd expect a pylon right over here, right over there, maybe against Hero right inside of the wall off, but he will see that there is a whole lot of nothing happening. Two Adepts immediately start up with the Cybercore finishing, and a Proxy Stargate starts up at the 2-minute mark, right outside of the main of Solar. Now, what do you expect here as Solar? What exactly do you think could be happening here? So, you see that there's a bunch of gateways, right? Does that mean there is no Nexus? Not necessarily. It could be one planted right now. Honestly, the most damning thing here is the fact that there is no way for Protoss to leave the main. I mean, the gateway units can pop out on either side of the gateway. That doesn't really matter all too much, but there's no way for probes to leave the main. This is a full wall off. 3 o'clock base is indeed a gold, so Solar is going to scout it. He is looking around the map as well with some links, but he hasn't seen the Stargate followed right now with a Proxy Nexus. May I remind you that this is the quarterfinals of a $700,000 tournament? Hero decides to approach this series in the most hero-like way possible. Adepts go into the main. Crisis management is gonna have to be on point for Solar here, who still does not know. Proxy Fleet Beacon on the back of this as well. Evo Chamber block is smooth though here for Solar. Adepts decide to shade away and at least go into safety. He's gonna see it now, though. Solar finally has a Zergling and an Overlord heading on over in this direction. He sees the Fleet Beacon, the Stargate, and then also the Proxy Nexus. Oracle at this point is done. Only 2 kills for the time being. Plenty of queens available. He's trying to see if maybe he can go for like a shield battery. Maybe an additional backup pylon would not be a bad idea either. So, Oracle is going to run out of energy in 10 seconds, but he can use the energy recharge ability from this Nexus to actually continuously top it off. And I'm assuming that is one of the reasons why we built the Nexus over here. Although, actually, he decides to recall about half of the workers from the main base, and he's planning on mining this location. There is that recharge, though, on the Oracle, so he can continuously shoot the lasers. Tempest production has now started up as well. So within the first 4 minutes, we get a proxy of quite literally everything, and then the most expensive stuff in the world too. Now, why in the world did we proxy the Nexus and then also the Fleet Beacon? Like, I don't... Anyways, I love it, don't get me wrong, but what is the advantage of building the Fleet Beacon, especially right over here? Solar decides to bring the Queens on over in this direction. Shield battery is going to have to get cancelled again. Hero decides to start up a couple of them now. Tempest is out though, and the Tempest is gonna make defending this so much easier. Oracle slips away at literally 1 HP. We have the Tempest though, trying to back up. Queens get body blocked by the Zerglings and then also the structures. Still though, all of the probes have disappeared. Hero slowly working away at whatever he can hit. Obviously, the Tempest can eventually kill all of the things here, but the problem is that the attack speed is just too slow. Second Tempest, though, is about 3/4 of the way done at this point, and the Zerglings can't really get a good surface area on the structure. Oracle cannot have the energy anymore for, well, actually, it could use the Pulsar Beam again right now. Maybe even a Stasis Ward would be a decent way of trying to, you know, get rid of some of the units out of this spot. Second Tempest, though, has spawned. In the meantime, the Zerglings go across too. I love the way in which Solar is playing against this. We've got ourselves a Twilight Council on the back of this too. Oracle is going to get its energy regen once more, so these links will have to back up. Unless Solar believes that he maybe, okay, can break through this here. The Tempest in the main base, though, what will they be able to achieve? It takes 5 Tempests to one-shot a Queen. 2 Tempests, I mean, it's 2.5, right? So it's 2.5. It doesn't really line up very well. Obviously, if you can continuously hit the opponent in the face, this can be really, really strong. Ultimately, Solar needs to buy time to get Corruptors out, and the lair is only just now finishing. I love that Solar decided to build the lair right over here at the 3rd, far away from where those Tempests are, and it probably means that we will see the Spire survive. Oracles and Adepts, though, still working away at the Zergling onslaught. New Adepts do get warped in. Glaives is researching right now here for our Protoss. I think the idea is to try and force out a response here with Corruptors. Now, we don't yet have a Spire here for Solar, who's only, by the way, on 28 workers. 28 workers, really not that much. If he can force out a Spire here, then obviously Glaive Adepts are going to be phenomenal if you're going up against Corruptors. Because Corruptors, last time I checked, although don't lose the Tempest, don't lose the Tempest, don't lose the Tempest to Queens. Come on, dude, it's a long-range weapon. Please back it up. Ooh, jeez, it lives. Much like that Oracle from earlier, but now in a much more expensive form. We do have the Skytles unit surviving here. Interestingly enough, Solar does not go Spire. Alright, he's building it now, but he's by no means rushing it out. Tempest decide to come back in for more. He needs to be so cautious. Nice targeting here, but as soon as the Queens turn around, yeah, you need to make sure that you're within a range. Careful now, hero, man. Being a hero fan is always dangerous. In the meantime, the Zerglings are working away at whatever they can hit. And it looks like that will be the end of the Fleet Beacon and the Stargate. Here go the Glaive Adepts, though, but this is now a 1 base all-in. Hero is still stuck on just a single base. This really needs to deal damage. If it doesn't, I think Hero is going to be in a world of trouble. I mean, he decides to shade right on top of all of the Queens. That's kind of sick. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. He does back it up in time. Now the Zerglings show up as well, though. Bunch of Roaches are just about to spawn. Tempests are kind of derping around a little bit. Queens try their very best to just stop this onslaught. And I think, as far as the Skytles units go, he's already quite well protected, meaning that the Adepts need to be the next target here. Solar snipes another one of the flying units as well. This one is still around. 16 confirmed kills is not bad. Drones are starting to fall now, but really Solar just needs to defend this one push. There's additional gateways coming up as well. Apparently that is where Hero is going to be spending some of his final money. We're actually getting to the point where the main base of the Protoss is going to be running low very soon. Chaos all over the map, but I am very impressed with the way that Solar has handled all of it. There's about a 0% chance that you can practice against this type of opener. Like, who in the world proxies a Tempest, a Nexus, like, all of it. Basically all of it. Like, you can't really prepare against this sort of thing. But Solar, apparently not too worried about thinking on his feet, ended up making pretty much all the right moves. And while originally the plan was to go Corruptors, now the Spire is going to be used for Mutalisks, and there is nothing here for our Protoss player that shoots up. He decides to commit, it seems, with the Adepts in the mineral line, cancels the big clump of them at the last possible second. I love this, by the way. Creep, dropping in the natural expansion of the Protoss. It means that Hero cannot expand to his natural, and even if he wanted to, he would have to knock down one of his own gateways first before he can even move down towards the low ground. I think this is now Protoss starting to fizzle out. Still, though, there's a lot of money on the line, so you may as well play it out to the absolute last possible moment. But I just don't really see a way out of this anymore for Protoss, and neither does Hero. He decides to tap out. Next up, we find ourselves on Incorporeal. honestly, hero played that strategy, I think, about as good as you can. Right? Like, he didn't get scouted too early. He didn't, like, lose any of his units early on unnecessarily. The micro on these Skytools units was tight, but good enough. It really all came down to Solar's defense, and I think maybe what hero was hoping for is that under all the pressure, Solar was gonna choke. And it was very clear that Solar, even though he probably has not seen a strategy exactly like that before, even though he may not have had a significant response prepared for it, he still managed that about as good as he could have. Very well done right there by our Zerg, who now gets his natural expansion blocked and is forced to go for the third as his very first expansion. Okay, Gateway in the meantime on the other side of the map. Dude. hero decides to put his first pylon as part of the wall off. It's just so funny to me. Across the board, this is not usually what you want to do, but hey, he doesn't care. He knows the rules. He's one of the reasons why the quote-unquote rules in StarCraft exist. Usually you don't put a pylon on the wall off, but hey, if you're a hero, you're too cool to play by those sorts of unnecessary restraints. Okay, Nexus on the back it is right now. Cybercore at 20 supply as well. Should be all the norm. So 20 supply Nexus, 20 supply Cybercore. What exactly is going to be the play this time around? There is an opening right over here, so hero can still leave the base relatively easily. Now, Solar is very much so the type of guy that will just defend whatever you throw at him, right? Obviously, it's not quite... I mean, he's not a Protoss player, right? So you can't really call him like Die Mauer. The Zerg defense rarely looks the way that it does whenever, like, you know, a Protoss player is a very defensive approach, like, for example, Showtime, but Solar is very good at defending dumb stuff. And this is a man who's got, like, 15 years of experience defending dumb stuff. He's very good at it. One of the very best to do it, actually. One thing, though, is that Solar is also a very aggressive player. I think across the board, at least in the games that I've seen Solar play lately, he doesn't really like playing late game all too much. So it seems that his game plan is to effectively play a perfect early game, take very little damage, try to build up a massive economy, and then use that advantage from that perfect early game to destroy the opponent with a timing attack in the mid game. That seems to be Solar's general game plan. Try to defend, and then overwhelm. But don't let the game stretch on for all too long, because playing late game against Protoss right now is looking pretty difficult. Keep in mind that other series that we did see, by the way, featuring Solar going up against Classic. A very good match across the board. But Classic just looked one step ahead in almost every regard. But the first game in that particular series was also a wild and wacky one, right? And Solar just seems to be able to navigate that really, really well. Gets a drone over here, though. Hero, that is. Not bad. Oracle once more. Oracle is the very first unit coming out of the Stargate. No surprise there. Second Oracle on the back it is too. I'm expecting a third Nexus here at about 345. So is Solar, as he's already sending Lings on over in this direction. It's important here that hero does start it up before the units really get the possibility to deny the Nexus, but good timings here by Protoss. Good timings here as well, though, by Zerg. Oh, looks like the Adept has been spotted, but the Shade is moving into the main base. Cancels it again. Can't really get the snipe on it, but still good enough right here for Solar, who has lost one drone and then one Zergling for the time being. I would say you can lose like up to maybe 5 drones and still be fine. Once you go beyond 5 workers lost as Zerg, assuming you don't do any weird shenanigans, right? Like if you make like a normal number of defensive units, you can probably lose about 5 and still be fine. Twilight Council together with a fort right now. Additional gateways as well here for our Protoss. The reason, by the way, why hero decides to put the pylon as part of the wall off, unlike many Protoss players, is so he can actually take a third Nexus off of just a single gate. Good movement here on the drones, though, as the Oracle swoop in once more. Hero does not get any damage done. But only just now is when we see the additional gateways being added. So 3 additional gates here for hero. It's going to be exactly what he needs, and he gets the third Nexus up. The nice thing here for Protoss is that even if you don't deal a lot of damage, you can still contest with the economy of the Zerg reasonably well. Now, what in the world is this? It's ambitious. That was barely gonna lock up anything anyway, but fair enough. Alright, Robo facility on the back of this here, though, for hero. So he's not gonna be sitting around on this tech route for all too long, but it will be Blink together with the +1. A lot of Protoss players currently a big fan of going into that quick storm. Seems to be the way to go. We'll have to see exactly what hero decides to do in this case. Solar, though, defending properly. Only just now is when a few drones are starting to go down, but really nothing all too critical. Fourth hatchery already building here as well for the Zerg. Yeah, top level players are so good at just building up so much stuff so quick. Like sometimes it might be nice if you play the StarCraft 2 ladder yourself, just to like take up a screenshot maybe of what the pro gamers are capable of getting 6 minutes into the game and compare it to what you are able to get out. I think especially as a newer player, you might be surprised just how much value you can gain in a relatively uneventful game so far. I mean, this is mostly both players just testing the waters. Here we go, though. Overlord speed coming up here for Solar together with Roach speed. You really only get those two upgrades going at this stage in the game if you plan to go for a big push. There is no evolution chamber, there is no baneling nest, we don't see a Hydra den. This is Solar going pure Queen Roach Zergling, and we'll be ferrying some of those units across the map with the Overlord speed. So there we go, Drop-A-Lord starts up. It is important, of course, that hero doesn't see this. So already we've got a big portion of the Zerg army sneaking out. I quite like this here from Solar. He made that army move when he knew that the oracles were preoccupied on the left side of the map. Still though, hero is taking up position here near the big ramp on the right, but the Zerg army has already been snuck up north. He can use that to also morph in some Ravagers if he wants to. Sidestorm though is going to finish up right now here for hero, so he will have that as an opportunity. Pushing up the ramp to the third base can oftentimes be difficult. As long as Protoss can control the high ground, life is usually okay on Incorporeal, but Solar is just about ready with a huge amount of units. And here's that Overlord drop coming in, mostly just to make sure that the Oracles can't just be hitting everything in the face all too often. We don't seem to have a lot of energy on the High Templar right now, though. Energy recharge has been used. Some decent storms do go down, but not that many of the Zerg units get hit. Solar is hitting his opponent with a perfect timing attack. Bunch of the units right now are already streaming into the natural expansion. Love the Overlord actually used right now as well to drop a bit of creep and speed up the Zerglings, closing the distance even faster to those High Templar, to those Immortals and everything else. The real problem is right over here. It seems like hero is okay-ish. Oh my god, he's, well, hitting some of his own workers here. He's okay-ish on the right, but the fight on the left is not looking good at all. Big warp in over here on the right as well, though, as he does decide to now blink onto the Ravagers. Good target firing. Probes did evacuate the natural for a little bit, hiding in the corner, now going back to mining once more. There is an observer here, so hero can see if there's any more reinforcements coming in, and that is all that Solar is going for. We only see more Roaches, Ravagers, Zerglings on the production tab, as he is smelling blood in the water right now, cornering hero over at his own third base. Up to this point, Solar has done a lot of army damage, not a lot of eco damage yet, but I think that is going to follow as soon as these units over here disappear. Hero playing a very conventional game, a very normal game of StarCraft here after, well, one of the weirdest build orders I've seen in a while, and he is getting utterly overwhelmed here by Solar. Game number one, he navigates one of the wackiest, one of the wildest early games that he's probably ever faced. Game number two, super conventional from Protoss, and he still utterly destroys his opponent. I wonder what hero is thinking at this point in time. He's one map away from elimination. He needs to try his best to figure things out right here, right now. Meganatha, though, in general, not an easy map to really be cheeky on. That's really what hero is known for. He can play straight up macro really well, but he's known for his more cheeky early game, and Maganatha's just so big. Not easy to really get anything crazy going. Let me have a quick look though. Maganatha, what is the... Oh, Google autocorrect does not agree with the name. What is the win-loss ratio on this map for this matchup? So this is a slightly Protoss favored map at the tournament level with about a 52% win rate. A little less for Protoss. Nothing all too crazy though, but likely to be herO's map pick if I were to make a guess. Still, this is not really a map where you can do anything crazy on. I mean, obviously you can if you really want to, but this is usually quite an ordinary map. It's very large, so if you can get the game, right, to go longer. So that's what herO was aiming for in the previous match. If you can get the game to go longer, absolutely hate this cybernetics core positioning. I'm not... Why not a little bit? Oh, well. He loves tanking stuff with the pylon. I guess it doesn't matter. But yeah, if you can get the game to go late, which is what herO was aiming for in the previous match, well then, obviously, you can win with Skytoss and all the rest of it. And this is technically a really good Skytoss map. It's just that Solar, he has already shown us that he is not really willing to let the game go on that long. Still though, Maganatha is a bit easier to hold bases on, right? So you can, well, obviously take the natural very easily. Third base doesn't have as many attacking opportunities for the opponent because, well, with the way that the natural is positioned, it's relatively defendable. Fourth base over here, doable as well. Relatively tight chokes. And then the fifth base at the front here also is protected, but it's only protected in theory. Like, in theory, I feel like this map is easy to defend on for Protoss, but so many times do we just see it horribly go wrong, especially over at this base, where the Zerg can attack from this side, from that side, and then usually also attack the third at the exact same time. It's a lot of crisis management that has to go perfectly all at the same time. Stargate opener again though for herO, no surprise there. It'll be up to Solar to try and see if he can defend really well again and then overwhelm the Protoss in the mid game. Can you really go for the same attack though, twice in a row? I'm not so sure. Overlord drops are phenomenal, but I don't think this map is as good for it. You just don't have that much room to, maneuver around. On Incorporeal, the third base and the natural have just a wide open plane. Not so much on this map. Okay, well, the first Oracle is out, second Oracle already queued up. Third Nexus should start right now. Bunch of Zerglings on the left side of the map too, thinking about running on over towards that side of the map, but he's apparently not even concerned. Queen's already waiting. One drone, two drone. Bit of hull damage though on the Oracle. Feels like a crazy dive, right? Just like straight past the Overlord, straight into the Queens. Solar was always gonna be in that position. I don't really love that, if I'm being honest. Like, with the very first bit of engagement, I like it when you're like the underdog. You just have to try and get whatever damage you can get. I think it's fair at that point for Protoss players to take that much damage on the first Oracle right away, but when you're not really, when the game is quite even, I don't think it's ideal. Still though, he knows he needs to get whatever he can get, because Solar's bases are locked up very, very nicely. Evo chamber this time around. I don't believe he made one at all in the previous game. Maybe even in the previous games. Did he make one in game number 1? Probably not. Twilight Council though, together with a Forge. I'm guessing +1 melee? Yeah, +1 melee here makes a lot of sense. When you get it this early, usually it's melee. When Zergs get it with the Lair, for example, it tends to be +1 missile. Oh, okay. Not a whole lot of links available yet. herO, though, decides to use some conservative pathing as he now brings the 3 Oracles together as well, hoping that maybe he can force the Queens out of position. Adepts don't shade into the natural. Instead, they move into the main. Oracles, in the meantime, swoop around. They're thinking about maybe engaging over at the third or the Nat. Yeah, there's no Spore Crawler in the natural is what he just scouted. One of the Queens goes down, but good movement here across the board, though, on the drones. That looked like an absolute disaster in the making for Solar, but only 4 drones in total. Bunch of Zerglings too, but certainly not the end of the world. 5 Adepts, 1 Queen, 19 Zerglings, yeah, 4, and now we go Glaives? Okay, hero. This Glaives upgrade is feeling very late to me. It's also kind of silly, right? To throw away a bunch of Adepts, only to then remake Adepts. Like, Solar is now obviously seeing this, and he notices, okay, wait a second. Why in the world would you not be warping in Stalkers right now? Usually you use the Adepts for follow-up aggression, and then you're done. Like, the age of the Adept is over. The only reason you would ever be warping in additional ones is either if you're panicking, which hero really shouldn't be at this point in the game, or if you're planning on going for a Glaives follow-up. So, Baneling Nest has been planted here by Solar. +1 melee is already finishing. Keep in mind that Banelings also do benefit from +1 melee, something that is easily forgotten, but they do deal additional damage. Not to be underestimated. Templar Archives as well. Hydra then. Solar has got full 3-base saturation. A 4th base is done. Now follows it up with +1 missile. He's got to go Hydraling Bane. Here go the Adepts though. These Adepts are going to hit pretty hard, but they also need to deal some sort of damage. Hero cannot afford throwing these units away, but this is obviously a very scary army. Still though, Banelings are already waiting, and Banelings, he sees them now for the very first time. Banelings are a unit that will be more than happy to absolutely blow up the Adepts. Can we do one more Evo Chamber block? Maybe that was the original plan. As long as the Banelings are chasing the Shades, it should be fine. Okay, he does not commit. Looks like the Adepts have snuck away. Another group of Adepts towards the left. In the meantime, Storm starts up, but obviously the 4th base gets delayed because of all of this. And he needs to justify the lack of a 4th. Looks like these units are going to get surrounded. Maybe some of them will be able to shade away. Hydra's joining in as well, though, and Hydras have a lot of DPS. So it'll be more and more difficult for these Adepts to, well, for those Adepts to sneak out. Okay, he decides to go for the recall as he's giving up on this push. Solar doing Solar things and making it look pretty straightforward. 12 drones. Extremely effective defense here. Okay. Now, Storm is gonna be the best weapon of choice here for hero now, right? So Storm deals 80 damage in an area of effect over the course of a few seconds. Hydras, Zerglings, Banelings are all Zerg class, like glass cannons. None of these units are particularly high in hit points. But, obviously it's, well, quite literally an explosive army. If the fights don't last too long and Solar can, for example, roll Banes into a bunch of High Templar or Zealots or Adepts or whatever, there's a lot of juicy targets that he can hit with it. It is going to be difficult for Hero to stop the flood. Now, Hero needs a 4th Nexus. And he needs it ASAP. As soon as Solar figures this out, I think he's gonna try and do a big attack in that direction as he stashes a bunch of Adepts on the Watchtower. Nice movement here. Looks like the Oracles did force a cancel. Still though, Baneling speed is just seconds away from finishing. Hydras already have their ranged upgrade, and now they're also gonna get their speed upgrade in the muscular augments. Here come the additional Banes. It looks like these may actually be rallied into that 3rd base direction. He's opening up the rocks over here too. Solar is smelling a seat in the semi-finals here. Trying his very best to see if he can make a big move straight towards that newly acquired Nexus here of our Protoss player. In the meantime, the Banelings on the left as well, trying to hit them all at the same time. 7 probes go already down. What about the push here at the 4th? 4th base in a world of trouble too. Nexus itself just part of all of the damage dealt, and he needs to cancel it. Very successful push here again for Solar. Slowly whittling down the opponent's army. On 3 Nexi, Protoss really can't make a transition towards Skytoss, and that seems to be Solar's biggest nightmare in the matchup right now. He backs up to safety to the 5th hatchery again. Still, some of the Zerg army, though, was sitting on the right side, and he's now thinking about using this for a surround. Hero needs to be careful that he does not find himself in between a bunch of, well, Zerg armies. Great movement here by Solar. He noticed that stasis wards were placed over there. Some good Baneling detonations too. Hydra's coming in around the back. Hydra's coming in around the side. Queen's hitting him in the front as well. And Solar is looking like an absolute StarCraft god in this series. Making Hero look like a bit of a fool. Just straight up outplaying him. Extremely nicely done here by Solar. Big overextension by hero, of course. He did not realize that half of that Zerg army decided to slip away. In a straight-up engagement, those Stalkers are certainly not going to win the fight. +2 melee on the back of this too. Still a safety worker as well, just because he can. But at this point, hero's bases are going to start running low. He needs a 4th base soon. The main is going to start drying up. The natural expansion is not too far off either. Still though, Solar feels like he has an opportunity to be the aggressor. Storms still need to be taken into consideration. But it's just pure Hydra Ling. Bunch of Banelings also do show up. Almost like a Brood War-esque type of unit composition. The Storms though have run out. He needs to go into an Archon there just to try and keep those Templar around for a little bit longer, using the Stalkers here to body block to try and save the mineral line for now. But Solar is smelling blood. He is, well, just rallying everything he's got straight across the map. No Hive, no Lurker Den, none of that, which seems to be what all the other Zerg players are going for. But Solar is able to get the job done, it seems, with just pure Hydra Zergling. Navigating these games brilliantly. Absolutely brilliantly. Very, very well done right here by Solar. There's a lot of people in the StarCraft community that like to complain, right? Balance is always one of the heated subjects, but I feel like there are a few Zerg players out there that are doing a very good job navigating these Protosses that are just trying to be a little cheeky with their aggression and all of their timing attacks, but Solar just absolutely destroyed his opponent. Now, today I want to give a special shout out to all of the Patreon supporters. Thank you to Ryan, especially to Shren, Rextor, Grimdy, Jacob, Kranlar, Garing, Dustin, Strategist, Blue Air, Ballistical, Killman. We have Bindsterk, Papuch, Thort, Sysadmin, Andy. We have Echo Soldier, Gavilan, Nakul, CRX, Robert, Patrick, Dumon, Brusik, Champ. We have Naroob, Jovo, Lucas, Waffles, and then Platinum Esports if you want to join them. And also, of course, the legends on the left side column. But if you want to join them, you can head on over to my Patreon.